In a turbulent spectacle of destruction, a menacing blue monster emerges, wreaking havoc in its wake. Enter Saitama, a bald man adorned with a cape, who decides to confront the chaos head-on. In an act of heroism, he rescues a young girl from the clutches of the monstrous entity, which arrogantly identifies itself as Vaccine Man, boasting a supposedly superior backstory than the conventional hero-for-fun narrative. However, before Vaccine Man can conclude his villainous exposition, Saitama swiftly dispatches him with a single, frustration-laden punch, echoing the familiar refrain of "only one punch." Transitioning to a time when Saitama was less bald and more unemployed, he encounters a peculiar adversary in the form of Crablante, a half-crab man. Choosing to ignore this crustaceous foe initially, Saitama discovers that the creature has vandalized his carapace with drawings, prompting the hero to intervene. In a bizarre turn of events, Saitama decides to save a child who had doodled on Crablante's exterior, ultimately dispatching the creature by tearing out its eye stalk with a necktie. This marked a pivotal moment in Saitama's journey, as his relentless training regimen led to the loss of his hair. Fast forward 3 years to the present day, and Saitama recollects a peculiar encounter with a colossal man disrupting his shopping expedition. This colossal being, created by a mad scientist using a serum, was intended to be the strongest man alive. Saitama finds himself perched on the left shoulder of this powerful being, while the intellectual counterpart on the right shoulder devises megalomaniacal plans for world domination. A comical mix-up ensues as Saitama instructs the colossal man to eliminate the wrong figure on his shoulder, leading to a series of events that send Saitama deep underground. Reflecting on the burdens of being the strongest man alive, Saitama acknowledges a prevailing sense of emptiness and boredom that accompanies unparalleled power. This realization crystallizes when, in a moment of inadvertence, Saitama accidentally levels B-City with a single right hook, sending the colossal being flying. The hero observes that the ability to solve any challenge with a solitary punch diminishes the need for complex emotions. However, a new opportunity arises when a subterranean invasion unfolds, with Earth dwellers suffering considerable casualties. Saitama, elated at the prospect of formidable opponents capable of reigniting his fighting spirit, eagerly prepares for the impending conflict. In the realm of Saitama's adventures, a surprising revelation unfolds as the hero awakens to an invasion orchestrated by a peculiar foe. A massive swarm of mosquitoes in City Z. As our hero struggles to catch even a single mosquito while tending to his cactus, the severity of the situation becomes apparent when a looter in the abandoned city is found completely drained of blood. Enter a cyborg who, through deductive prowess, discerns that the mosquitoes are being controlled by a formidable adversary. The Mosquito Woman. In a bizarre exchange, Mosquito Woman sacrifices her legs for an arm, further complicating the challenge for Saitama. Undeterred, our hero takes to the streets, attempting to spray the single mosquito, only to cross paths with the cyborg and the massive swarm surrounding Mosquito Woman. Despite Saitama's attempts to set the bugs ablaze, the sheer volume of blood consumed by Mosquito Woman prompts the cyborg to engage in self-reflection. In a display of Saitama's overwhelming strength, Mosquito Woman is swiftly swatted away, disappearing faster than his clothes, leaving the cyborg in awe. This cyborg, Genos, expresses a genuine desire to become Saitama's disciple, showing up a week later with unwavering determination. He introduces himself as Genos, persistently referring to Saitama as master and willingly divulging his life story, recounting how a cyborg destroyed his hometown, leading him to become a cyborg himself for revenge. However, the plot thickens as a mysterious figure seeks to capture Saitama for genetic experiments, dispatching genetically modified creatures to achieve this goal. Genos, now aware of the House of Evolution, learns from an armored gorilla cyborg about Dr. Genus and the cloning apparatus that runs the facility. Dr. Genus, intrigued by Saitama's incredible strength, experiments with artificial evolution. Upon arriving at the House of Evolution, Genos, the cyborg disciple, levels the entire above-ground complex. A clone unleashes Carnage Kabuto, touted as the pinnacle of evolution according to Dr. Genus. Genos engages with ease, effortlessly dealing with the clone. However, when Carnage Kabuto sets his sights on Saitama, he recoils in terror at the hero's overwhelming power and lack of concern for defense. Before the impending battle, Saitama reveals the secret to his strength: a regimen of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day for 3 years, or at least until his hair falls out. The revelation that Saitama's immense strength stems from a seemingly mundane regimen of regular strength training disappoints everyone in the room, as Carnage Kabuto transitions into his formidable Carnage mode, a week-long rampage that extends until the next Saturday. Saitama appears defeated, not putting up any resistance. The gravity of the situation dawns on him. He realizes that today is Saturday, and he has made a critical mistake by missing discount day at the supermarket, wreaking havoc on his wallet. However, Genos reassures him that there is still time to make it before the store closes. In the chaos that ensues, a hole is blasted through the wall as Saitama and Genos rush to the store, leaving Dr. Genos to abandon his research, and the Hero Association investigates Genos' destructive capabilities. Amidst the turmoil, a terrorist named Hammerhead, driven by fervent beliefs about eating the banks or relying on trickle-down bootstraps, knocks down a building owned by Zeniru, a wealthy and powerful man. Despite targeting the wrong building, the act is fueled by ideological convictions. Meanwhile, Saitama awakens from a disturbing dream about rock, paper, scissors only to discover a group of terrorists running rampant. Frustrated that they stole his look, he becomes a public enemy for every bald man. In need of assistance, Zeniru hires an assassin who conveniently arrives to deal with Hammerhead and his associates. The assassin swiftly dispatches the cue ball-wielding terrorists, relieving them of their heads. However, Hammerhead manages to escape, only to encounter Saitama in the forest. Saitama effortlessly dismantles Hammerhead's stolen battlesuit, but the assassin shows up and, assuming Saitama is a terrorist, engages him in combat. Disheartened by the fact that the assassin doesn't recognize him, Saitama watches as the hired gun zips around, introducing himself as Speed of Sound Sonic. Sonic, surprised that Saitama can effortlessly block his attacks, finds himself momentarily stunned when accidentally sacking him. The stage is set for an unexpected confrontation between the caped hero and the speedy assassin. After Sonic vows that their paths will cross again, he slinks off into the shadows. Meanwhile, Saitama confides in Genos about a predicament. He remains unrecognized despite defeating more monsters than any other hero. The solution to gaining the recognition he desires lies in signing up for the official hero registry. Both heroes agree to tackle this challenge together, and in the process, Genos aims to become Saitama's official disciple. Two formidable obstacles stand in their way: a physical exam and a written exam. Saitama, true to his overpowering abilities, obliterates every record in the physical portion and wreaks havoc on most of the equipment in the process. On the other hand, Genos achieves a perfect score on both sections, leaving onlookers puzzled as to why a cyborg is subjected to a physical test in the first place. Despite this anomaly, Genos is promptly ranked as an S-class hero, confidently celebrating his newfound status. However, the celebration takes an abrupt turn when he realizes he misinterpreted the top half of the letter C as an S. Saitama, passing by just 1 point, joins Genos as the only two heroes to successfully pass the exams. Now enrolled in the Hero Association, they must endure a class taught by Snack, an A-class hero. Frustrated by their apparent lack of attention span, Snack attempts to haze Saitama, only to embarrass himself further. In an attempt to gauge Saitama's prowess, Genos challenges him to a spar. However, when Genos requests Saitama to go all out, he is utterly baffled by the sheer strength his master possesses. Despite witnessing Saitama's incredible abilities, Genos remains skeptical, convinced that Saitama's basic training regimen couldn't possibly be the secret to his unparalleled strength. After their training session, the duo decides to grab Samudon, Class A Rank 1 hero Sweet Mask, approaches Genos outside, offering an ominous welcome to the big leagues. As 5 days pass since they officially became heroes and Genos moved in, casual conversation unveils the harsh reality that Class C heroes, including Saitama and Genos, need to meet a quota to remain on the registry or face removal. The challenges of hero life are beginning to unfold for our unconventional duo. Saitama, grappling with the newfound responsibility of mentoring Genos, realizes he has no concrete plan for instruction. On the spot, he conjures up advice he vaguely remembers from a manga about training the mind, and assigns Genos the ambitious goal of reaching the top 10 in the S-Class hero rankings. With this objective set, Genos embarks on a 2-day citywide mission to achieve his mentor's expectations. Complicating matters, Sonic resurfaces seeking a rematch against his self-imagined rival, only to be unnerved when Saitama effortlessly breaks his sword and confronts him in anger. A curious woman points them out as Tank Top Tiger, a C-Class hero, approaches. Saitama, initially laughing at the situation, assumes Sonic is a criminal. However, annoyance sets in when he realizes that nobody recognizes him as a hero. Sonic, escalating the situation, throws an exploding shuriken at Tank Top Tiger, initiating chaos in the city. Saitama, now caught in the midst of the turmoil, contemplates the implications. Does apprehending Sonic count towards fulfilling his hero quota? Fortunately, Saitama's ignorance works in his favor, given Sonic's covert identity as a hired assassin. Meanwhile, 2 A-Class heroes, Golden Ball and Spring Mustachio, are dispatched to City Z to investigate reports of a monster sighting. Simultaneously, a monster investigates the same sighting and crosses paths with the heroes. The encounter takes a swift turn as Golden Ball is incapacitated almost immediately, leaving Spring Mustachio to call for backup before meeting a similar fate. As Saitama happens to be strolling home, he inadvertently runs into the monster. His priorities shift abruptly when he realizes he forgot to get kombu stock. Amidst these events, a massive meteor alters its trajectory. Hurtling straight for City Z, Genos receives a call from the Hero Association, summoning all S-Class heroes to respond to the impending threat. However, only Bang, also known as Silver Fang, shows up. Before Genos can test his new upgrades, Metal Knight, a fellow hero, sends a drone for a field test, but it proves futile. Overwhelmed by the situation, Genos starts overthinking until Bang, also known as Silver Fang, calms him down. Genos puts everything he has into a powerful shot against the meteorite, only to find that it has no impact. Desperation looms until Saitama arrives, refusing to let his city be destroyed. In a spectacular display of strength, he punches straight through the meteorite, shattering it into smaller, less catastrophic pieces that rain down on the city. Although the destruction is massive, fortunately, no lives are lost. Saitama's actions propel him from rank 342 to C-Class rank 5, surpassing the achievements of 2 S-Class heroes. As Saitama embarks on patrol, he is confronted by Tank Top Tiger and another tank top-wearing hero who accuse him of destroying the city and cheating in the rankings. Frustrated, Saitama yells at the oblivious crowd, emphasizing that he doesn't seek admiration, but does what he does because he wants to. News of an impending invasion by the sea folk surfaces. Moomin Rider rushes to the scene, but Saitama, casually walking by, has already taken care of the situation. In City J, a class hero Stinger handles some of the sea folk, but the Sea King emerges, defeating Stinger with ease. Reports of the incident reach Lightning Max, who contemplates intervening. Meanwhile, 2 escaped convicts, Puri Puri Prisoner, an S-Class hero, and Sonic encounter the Sea King. Sonic decides to take on the formidable foe after being insulted. As the rain begins, the Sea King grows faster and stronger, overwhelming Sonic. Moomin Rider, spotting a lost Saitama, offers him a ride. Sonic escapes, but not without losing his clothes. Saitama, puzzled, jumps off the bike, wondering about the naked guy. Back at the association, Genos faces off with the Sea King, attempting to evacuate the stadium. The Sea King rips off Genos' arm, but the cyborg hero is taken out while trying to save a little girl. Moomin Rider refuses to give up, delivering an impassioned speech, and Saitama intervenes just as the Sea King is about to strike him down. Sonic, now clothed, returns too late to confront the monster. Genos and Saitama receive fan mail, mostly hate mail, and 1 fan letter, prompting a flashback to the aftermath of the battle. Saitama lies to the crowd, claiming he's the one who steals other heroes' credit, fostering appreciation for the fallen heroes. The Hero Association promotes Saitama to C-Class rank 1, inviting him to a meeting to discuss moving up to B-Class. As Genos and Saitama discuss the lingering question of whether Saitama is a genuine hero or a fake, they ponder the authenticity behind his record-breaking test scores. The answer, however, remains elusive. On his way home, Saitama decides to grab something to eat, only to encounter Moomin Rider, who offers to buy him a drink as a token of gratitude for saving him earlier. During their conversation, one of his fellow students went berserk, defeating all of his top disciples. The conversation takes an unexpected turn when a representative from the Hero Association arrives, announcing an emergency meeting for all S-Class heroes. Curious, Saitama decides to join the meeting, as he has nothing better to do. At the meeting, they learn of the unfortunate passing of Madame Shibabawa, a seer who predicted monster attacks. Before her last breath, she foretold that the Earth was in imminent danger within the next 6 months. Suddenly, chaos ensues as VHQ, Hero Association Headquarters, is attacked by a colossal alien spaceship, leveling the city. Genos surveys the scene, only to realize that Saitama has already effortlessly busted through the ceiling, boarding the ship without hesitation. While S-Class heroes engage in a fierce battle on the ground, Saitama carelessly runs through the ship, mindlessly punching everything in his path. The heroes on the ground face a formidable adversary against an alien known as Melzargard, one of the aliens, while Saitama continues his exploration within the spaceship. Amidst the chaos, the heroes discover and confront Melzargard, a regenerating multi-headed alien. Physical attacks prove ineffective until Metal Bat, one of the heroes, destroys a blue marble, killing off one of Melzargard's heads. The alien, contacted telepathically, is ordered to leave. Seemingly compliant, Guru Yugen Shup is more than willing to guide. However, Saitama, in his characteristic fashion, goes in the opposite direction, smashing through doors in search of the spaceship's captain. Within the spaceship, Saitama stumbles upon the telepathic alien who attempts to intimidate him with telekinesis. Unfazed, Saitama dismisses the display as a waste of time and casually tosses a pebble right through the alien's head, revealing his unyielding strength and lack of concern for the telepathic threat. As the ship's gunner hesitates for confirmation, Tornado, an S-Class hero, intervenes, halting the barrage and redirecting it towards the ship. Moomin Rider emerges as an unexpected hero, rescuing survivors in City A and inspiring other low-ranking heroes to join his cause. Meanwhile, Bang, also known as Silver Fang, obliterates another of Melzargard's heads, leaving only one remaining. This provokes a retaliatory attack that launches Bang through multiple buildings. Back on the ship, Saitama smashes through the door of the alien leader, who recognizes him as the strongest warrior on the planet with seemingly unlimited energy. Before their clash, Boros, the leader of the Dark Matter Gang and self-proclaimed dominator of the universe, expresses a respectful desire to exchange names. Saitama begins to introduce himself as a hero for fun, but corrects it to a professional hero, saving himself from potential embarrassment. Boros reveals that an alien seer predicted he would find someone worthy of challenging him. As he grew bored with his immense strength, unperturbed, Saitama punches Boros, breaking his armor and revealing his unimaginable power. Despite Boros's powerful regenerative abilities, Saitama remains unfazed, interrupting the villain's exposition. Tornado continues her assault on the ship with telekinesis, while Drive Knight warns Genos that Metal Knight is not an ally. Bang, seemingly unharmed, destroys the last of Melzargard's heads. Meanwhile, Boros relentlessly attacks Saitama, who remains completely composed. Saitama's indifference to Boros's actions and words only fuels Boros's frustration. However, Saitama's most powerful move, the consecutive normal punches, fails to defeat Boros and instead provokes him to use his ultimate move. In response, Saitama employs his own ultimate move, the Serious Punch, sending Boros hurtling around the world. Boros, completely baffled by his defeat, realizes that he is lost to the enigmatic hero. The battle concludes with Saitama standing victorious, showcasing the vast difference in power between the two. Sweet Mask arrives, visibly infuriated by the aftermath of the battle, and unleashes his anger on the S-ranked heroes. Simultaneously, Metal Knight dispatches a drone to collect alien technology. In the midst of this chaos, Genos wonders about the whereabouts of his master. Saitama, having punched his way out of the alien spaceship, pays little attention to the furious Tornado and casually chats with Genos about his victory over Boros. Despite the destruction of City A, the Hero Association rebuilds, utilizing salvaged parts from the alien ship. A new headquarters is established, and A and S rank heroes are invited to reside there. Later, Saitama faces Pluton, the king of the underworld, only to become infuriated that he can defeat everything with a single punch once again. After a successful mission at the supermarket, Saitama and Genos encounter King, an S-class hero ranked 7, going about his day. A monster named Tongue Stretcher tries to hide his undesirable behavior, but facing King, he surrenders immediately to the strongest human alive, avoiding a confrontation. However, King's tranquility is disrupted when G4, a formidable robot, challenges him for the throne. Unfazed, King turns his attention to a porcelain figure, causing G4 to hesitate and giving him a 10-minute bathroom break before the battle. King, feeling the pressure, starts to panic. He realizes that every time a monster appears, someone else takes care of it, and he gets credit for it. In a moment of self-reflection, King decides to make a run for it to play his new video game, Heartbeat Hottie's Sisters 2. Genos continues to battle G4, while Saitama, having followed King home, questions him about his behavior. Embarrassed, King claims to have accidentally bought the wrong game, denying any hardcore dating sim fandom. Despite King's reluctance, the two start gaming together, delving into an unexpected camaraderie. Suddenly, a colossal bird crashes through the outer wall of King's apartment, prompting Saitama to contemplate whether he should intervene. In the midst of this chaos, King's well-guarded secret is unwittingly exposed. After Saitama defeats the gigantic avian menace, King realizes with chagrin that Saitama has been his silent savior since the time of his octopus encounter, which left him with an ocular scar. The smooth-headed hero, despite the challenge of recognizing him without any hair, has been there all along, orchestrating covert rescues. The Hero Association, desperate for recruits, resorts to even recruiting criminals. Sonic, upon discovering Saitama's absence from the meeting, leaves in frustration. Tensions rise as criminals and heroes find themselves at odds, both sides exhibiting little enthusiasm for the unconventional proposition. In the midst of the turmoil, Garo challenges everyone, declaring humans as the enemy and aligning himself with the monsters. In a display of strength, Garo dispatches most of the meeting attendees, leaving behind a chilling message heralding his arrival as a formidable monster. Meanwhile, Saitama remains oblivious to the unfolding events, engrossed in his video games. Genos, however, detects someone approaching their location. Answering the door, Genos is met by Sonic, who is eager to pick another fight with his rival. However, vengeance is not on the agenda today, as Sonic and Genos decide to relocate their potential battle elsewhere.
Hellish Blizzard, a B-class rank 1 hero, arrives at their apartment,
attempting to explain the intricate factions within each hero class. As the leader of the Blizzard group, she tries to assert her authority over Saitama, only to experience firsthand the power that lies within him. The confrontation spills onto the street, where they encounter Genos and Sonic. To everyone's surprise, Saitama intervenes to save Blizzard from a dire situation. Genos contemplates obliterating Sonic with a colossal blast to counter his afterimage trick, but Saitama intervenes, preferring to preserve his neighborhood rather than have his disciple wreak havoc. Instead, Saitama concedes to Sonic's desire for a fight, setting the stage for a potentially explosive confrontation between the two formidable opponents. In a dazzling display of speed, Saitama utilizes serious sideways jumps, creating a multitude of afterimages that even Sonic struggles to perceive. Employing Sonic's own technique against him, Saitama emerges victorious. Back at the apartment, Blizzard expresses her discontent, feeling overshadowed by the metaphorical storm clouds of her sister's formidable tornadoes. Interrupting their conversation, King knocks on the door, inquiring about his handheld console. To Blizzard's dismay, she discovers that Saitama has inadvertently overwritten King's saved file. Blizzard continues to voice her surprise and frustration, adding another layer to the unfolding events. Genos receives the hero name Demon Cyborg, while Saitama is humorously dubbed Caped Baldy, a title that strikes fear into the unshaved and capless. At Bang's dojo, Shiranko is expelled for failing to stand up after a severe beatdown. This information is later relayed to Saitama and company at his apartment. Genos probes further into any potential link between Bang's change in demeanor and Garo's recent rampage. Speculations arise, including the possibility that Bang acted to protect his brother Chiranko. As Chiranko leaves the apartment, he contemplates what he would do if he encountered Garo. His musings are cut short when he hears Garo nearby, accompanied by Moment Rider. Before any words are exchanged, a gang of tank-top-wielding heroes arrives to challenge the self-proclaimed monster. The heroes are taken aback by Garo's resilience, prompting Tank Top Master to consider ending him. However, Moomin Rider intervenes, vehemently opposing the idea of a hero killing a human. Despite some tests from his entourage, Tank Top Master agrees to let Garo leave. Accidentally employing Bang's technique, Garo devastates the gym junkies, putting Moment Rider in the hospital. Saitama visits Moment Rider the next day, seeking information. Meanwhile, in a park, a curious kid flips through a hero almanac, and Garo joins him, extracting information about the heroes from the various entries. Saitama meets with Churenko in the hospital to learn about martial arts. Churenko, unable to participate in an upcoming tournament, gives Saitama his extra tickets. Utilizing the almanac to locate Golden Ball, Garo challenges him to a fight. Golden Ball accepts, catching the aspiring monster off guard initially, though he quickly finds himself running out of balls. Spring Mustachio valiantly attempts to aid Metal Bat against the relentless assault from Yuro. Unfortunately, their luck is short-lived, as Yuro manages to overpower Spring Mustachio as well. The scene unfolds in the shopping district, where Garo inadvertently crosses paths with Saitama, who is engaged in a seemingly ordinary shopping excursion. Mistaking Saitama for a low-level hero, Garo launches an attack, only to be shocked and disgraced as his former master's disciple effortlessly counters, rendering him unconscious. Saitama, on the other hand, reveals that he was shopping for a wig to disguise himself as Churenko for the upcoming super fight tournament. This revelation triggers a flashback in Garo's mind, harking back to his childhood when he cheered for the monsters. Questioning the conventional narrative where the bad guys always lose. Determined to break free from this cycle, Garo resolves never to lose and aspires to become the strongest monster. As Garo regains consciousness, his confusion about being knocked out washes over him. Meanwhile, after an attack on a high-ranking official of the Hero Association, Metal Bat is assigned to protect one of the major sponsors along with his kid. Churenko expresses concern that Saitama might enter the super fight tournament under his name, a valid worry, as Saitama indeed decides to do just that. In the midst of these events, Sourface, another former disciple of Bang, confronts Saitama, explaining the tournament's ban on headwear due to a previous incident involving a contestant wearing a mask. Undeterred, Saitama wigs out, determined to proceed with his plan. In a different encounter, Metal Bat defends the sponsor and his child from monsters without breaking a sweat until a dragon-level threat appears. Two low-ranking heroes seize the opportunity to snatch the civilians and flee, leaving Metal Bat alone to face the formidable foe. Garo arrives on the scene, initially ignoring Metal Bat's challenge. However, as the battle ensues, Yuro is astounded by Metal Bat's endurance, realizing the hero's resilience in the face of relentless attacks. After knocking Metal Bat down, Garo concedes that he almost had him, acknowledging the potential of a single head-on strike to secure victory. Just as Garo is about to deliver a finishing blow, a little girl's voice rings out, halting his bat inches from Metal Bat's face. To everyone's surprise, the hero's little sister steps in, putting a stop to the fight. Garo withdraws, and as monsters watch from a distance, they approach him, attempting to recruit him into the Monster Association, only to face his resolute refusal, resulting in the demise of one of his persistent followers. Simultaneously, the Hero Association finds itself overwhelmed as monsters emerge in large numbers across every city. At the Super Fight Tournament, Saitama learns that pairings are based on apparent strength. Zako's attempts to talk trash, but Saitama astutely points out his own strength, swiftly ending the match with a single, decisive slap. In the arena, a former champion named Suiryu, who had mysteriously disappeared for 7 years, makes a dramatic return. In his first match, Suiryu effortlessly dispatches Lightning Max with a single powerful kick. Meanwhile, reports of monsters in the area prompt Janos to leave his stance and address the threat. Sourface, having won his match, boasts about his victory just as Saitama returns from the bathroom, having missed the entire spectacle. Saitama's next opponent attempts to taunt and intimidate the rookie until he touches Saitama's wig, leading to a swift and unceremonious knockout punch. As more monsters appear and heroes struggle to combat the large-scale assault, Janos barely manages to defeat an elusive cockroach man, only to be blindsided by a formidable dragon-level threat. Back at the tournament, Suiryu continues his dominating performance, taunting and disrespecting heroes, asserting that only the strong will survive. He secures yet another victory with a single devastating blow. S-class heroes join the battle against the monster assault, attempting to turn the tide in the chaos. Meanwhile, Saitama faces off against a ruthless psychopath, easily dispatching the threat with a single dismissive smack. In the midst of the turmoil, Atomic Samurai convenes with a council of swordmasters to discuss the Euro problem. However, instead of devising a strategy to combat the monsters, Haragiri, a former comrade, has joined their ranks. He attempts to entice others with monster cells, claiming they provide incredible power. Atomic Samurai, unimpressed, promptly splits him in two. Finally, the stage is set for the tournament finals, Saitama versus Suiryu. The latter, brimming with confidence, promises to showcase the true essence of martial arts. Suiryu expresses his disdain for heroes, advising against becoming one. However, Saitama reaches his limit, uninterested in the banter. Without bothering to dodge a kick, Saitama's wig is sent flying, leading to his disqualification for wearing a head cover. Suiryu becomes furious at the turn of events and unleashes a flurry of blows, vowing to demonstrate the power of martial arts. Yet his efforts are in vain as Saitama delivers his signature one-hit wonder, sending Suiryu flying out of the ring. The tournament reaches a dramatic and unexpected conclusion. Despite emerging victorious, Suiryu remains unsatisfied, contemplating what would have transpired if Saitama hadn't held back during their confrontation. Suddenly, the atmosphere takes a dark turn as three enormous crows descend from above, signaling the arrival of Goketsu. He catches a contestant attempting to escape, ruthlessly mangles their corpse, and proudly declares his transformation into a monster. Shocked contestants are presented with a grim choice: consume monster cells or face certain death. While many reluctantly opt for the former, Suiryu resolutely refuses, choosing to confront the newly created monsters elsewhere. Elsewhere in the chaos, Gyro engages in a fierce battle with Watchdog Man, questioning whether the enigmatic opponent is human or monster. Suiryu, desperate for assistance, turns to the last remaining competitor, only to realize the futility of relying on a fellow human against the overwhelming odds. As Bakuzen undergoes a successful transformation, Suiryu, facing imminent danger, pleads for mercy, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. With no other recourse, Suiryu decides to cry out for help, hoping someone will come to his aid. In a moment of suspense, a mysterious figure emerges, boasting a smooth bald head and a flowing red cape. The caped baldy, Saitama. Swiftly dispatching Bakuzen, Suiryu struggles to place him, feeling a sense of familiarity. Only when Suiryu reminds him does Saitama recall their previous encounter. Though he dismissively ranks Suiryu dead last, Saitama explains his reason for joining the tournament, expressing disappointment at the lack of challenging opponents. However, upon learning about Goketsu, his interest is piqued. Perhaps a monstrously powerful martial artist could offer a more formidable challenge. Returning to Suiryu, Saitama requests his silence about the tournament, while Suiryu contemplates the possibility of becoming a hero. Saitama responds nonchalantly, suggesting that anyone could become a hero if they wanted to. Saitama finds himself in a reflective mood, grappling with the ennui that comes with being the strongest hero. In an attempt to lift his spirits, King offers an inspirational speech he once read in a manga, but it fails to ignite any passion in the disheartened hero. Undeterred, King suggests playing games and even offers Saitama an advantage to entice him. Just as they engage in their gaming session, Garo makes a sudden appearance, attempting to take down one of the top heroes. Saitama, as observant as ever, spots Garo's presence and remains unfazed. Meanwhile, Sonic is approached by two ninja associates who propose a method to defeat his rival, involving the consumption of a monster sound. Sonic decides to cook the monster before consuming it, expecting to gain super speed abilities, but only achieving the power to evacuate his bowels at the speed of sound. At the Hero Association, a peculiar employee, seemingly possessed, claims to have a message from the Monster Association. The situation takes a turn as the messenger transforms and attacks, revealing a desire for an immediate ceasefire. The humans, skeptical of the offer, prepare for war. Upon regaining consciousness, Garo encounters Death Gatling but decides to retreat and recover before continuing his hero hunt. The kid with the almanac, sent by friends to clear out a building, stumbles upon the wounded monster aspirant. As a couple of lower-ranking heroes surround the building, Garo uses the information from the almanac to strategically target the heroes. Despite the poison-tipped arrows lodged in his shoulder, Garo remains defiant and defeats 4 of the 8 heroes one by one. Victorious but weakened, Garo stumbles away from the battlefield, only to encounter a newly repaired Genos. Meanwhile, Saitama and King engage in a gaming battle when they receive notice of monster attacks. King dismisses the urgency, confident that someone else will handle it. Saitama concurs, expressing faith that Genos will handle the situation competently. Garo experiences a flood of flashbacks, revisiting every instance in which he's pushed his body to its limits. Motivated by a desire to assess the situation, he arrives just in time to witness Genos provoking Yiro, admitting that there are more pressing issues than dealing with a small fry hero hunter. Before Genos can inflict harm on himself in an attempt to confront the enemy, Bang and Bomb make a timely entrance, offering to take over. The sound of Bang's voice triggers memories of Garo's youth at the dojo, intensifying his anger. Realizing that using Bang's own style would be futile, Garo employs unexpected tactics, incorporating Watchdog Man's style to confuse the heroes and gain the upper hand. Meanwhile, Phoenix Man observes from above, awaiting the opportune moment to seize Garo and make his escape. Summoning Sanachuro from below, Genos springs into action, giving his all in the fight. Despite their combined efforts, the heroes struggle to inflict substantial damage on the giant monster. Genos, undeterred, takes a bold move, entering the creature through its mouth and detonating a powerful explosion from within. However, it proves insufficient to defeat the monster. In a surprising turn of events, King's voice echoes through a megaphone, claiming that the #1 hero, Blast, has arrived to face Sensachiro. As the monster is lured toward a seemingly defenseless King, waiting for Saitama's intervention, the bald wonder steps in at the last moment, delivering a devastating blow that obliterates the insect effortlessly. Genos, grateful for the assistance, seeks guidance from his master, asking what he still lacks. Saitama's simple answer, power, leaves King in a state of worry, recognizing the immense gap between anyone and the Caped Baldy.